Hello YouTube, my name's Adam. This video is about the Flat Earth. I have the Flat Earth Doctrine you can download in the description of the video. This is version 1. May change and update in the future. This doctrine is about 9 words, or 9 pages, about 3,000 words, so I'm just going to go over everything step by step. Okay, I've been studying the Flat Earth for about 2 years now, and I believe it is God's design that the Earth is flat, that we do not live in the universe, so I'm just going to go over the Bible verses that explain this. Here we have it broken down into 3 parts: evidence, information, and apologetics. So starting in evidence, number 1, the earth does not move or rotate at all. 1 Chronicles 16:30 says, "Fear before him all the earth, the world also shall be stable, that it be not moved." Psalm 93:1, "The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty, the Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also established that it cannot be moved." Psalm 96:10, "Say among the heathen that the Lord reigneth, the world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved. He shall judge the people righteously." So here we see that the earth does not move at all. God says it doesn't move, doesn't rotate or fly through space. It's stationary. Number 2, the earth is circular and closed by a dome, heaven/firmament, with water above it. Genesis 1:7, God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Psalm 148:4, "Praise him, ye heavens of heavens, and ye waters that be above the heavens." Job 37:18, "Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong, and as a molten looking glass?" So here we see that there are waters above the glass firmament, which is why the sky is blue. The most logical conclusion as to why the sky is blue is that there's water above it, because water is blue. And God is saying here that there's waters above and waters below the firmament. And since the firmament is translucent, we can see the water through it. Psalm 19:1, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun." So the firmament is an object God made, his handiwork. It is like a tabernacle with ends that the sun travels in. The sun, moon, and stars travel inside this firmament. It's an enclosed system. Isaiah 40:22, "It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, and stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in." God here says circle, and not a globe. There is a difference. If you look at Isaiah 22:18, it says, "He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. There shalt thou die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of thy Lord's house." So, 18 chapters previous, God used the word for ball, and then he later used the word for circle. So we should not get the two confused. God clearly makes a distinction here. And they are distinct Hebrew words. Secrets of Enoch 3:1, "It came to pass when Enoch had told his sons that the angels took him onto their wings and bore him up onto the first heaven and placed him on the clouds, and there I looked. And again I looked higher and saw the other. And they placed me on the first heaven and showed me a very great sea, greater than the earthly sea." So here Enoch is describing the sea above the firmament, and it is greater than the oceans on the earth. When God flooded the earth, he says that he opened the fountains of the deep, and the waters above are connected to the waters below through the center of the earth. So all that water drained from the top of the sky down into earth and filled the snow globe, if you will. That's how the water got above Mount Everest. It was not from rain alone. That could not happen in 40 days and 40 nights. All that water came from somewhere. and then when the flood was receded, all the water went back above the firmament. Book of Enoch, 54:7-8. And in those days shall punishment come from the Lord of spirits, and he will open all the chambers of waters which are above the heavens, and of the fountains which are beneath the earth. And all the waters shall be joined with the waters. That which is above the heavens is masculine, and the water which is beneath the earth is feminine. Here Enoch describes it perfectly. Number 3, above the sky is heaven. Job 22:12. Is not God in the height of heaven? And behold, the height of the stars, how high they are. Psalm 148:13. Let them praise the name of the Lord, for his name alone is excellent. His glory is above the earth and heaven. The Book of the Secrets of Enoch describes 10 levels of heaven. So, first level of heaven, you have normal earth sky up to the firmament. Contains storehouses, snow, and dew. You have second heaven is great darkness, where angel prisoners are held. Third is green paradise with the tree of life. Also, there's a section that contains hell-like torturing. So, when we go to heaven, we will reside in the third heaven. Courses of sun, moon, and stars, armed soldiers of the Lord, giants from before the flood are kept here in the fifth level. The Lord's footstool is in the sixth level. Archangels, phoenixes, cherubim, and six-winged ones are here and sing to the Lord. Seventh heaven, fiery troops of archangels and incorporeal forces, dominions, orders, governments, cherubim, seraphim, thrones, many-eyed ones, regiments, stations of light, cherubim, seraphim, six-winged ones, many-eyed ones that cover the Lord's throne and sing to him. Eighth level of heaven, changer of the seasons, drought, rain, the 12 signs of the zodiac. Ninth, holds the 12 signs of the zodiac. The 10th, the Lord and his throne surrounded by his servants. The earth has edges, number 4, where the firmament meets land in Antarctica. If you have never seen a map of the flat earth, you can look it up. But basically, there is no South Pole, there's a North Pole. The South Pole, we are surrounded by Antarctica. It's basically Antarctica is huge. It's the biggest continent in the world because it surrounds the entire world. So Job 28:24, for he looketh to the ends of the world and seeth under the whole heaven. Spherical earth would have no ends, bounds, or corners. Job 26:10, he hath compassed the waters with bounds, and so the day and night come to an end. Revelation 7:1, after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, and the wind shot out, and the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. So here we see the corners of the earth. So, and God also describes firmament as a tent, which would have 4 corners, more likely. So, either we live in a rectangle or a square, or it's like a snow globe. We don't know exactly, but God does talk about the corners of the earth. So it may not be round in shape. We just know that we're surrounded by Antarctica in a circle-like fashion. Book of Enoch 18:5, I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the paths of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. Book of Enoch 32:2, to the east of these beasts I perceived the extremities of the earth where heaven ceased. The gates of heaven stood open. I beheld the celestial stars come forth. I numbered them as they proceeded out of the gate, and wrote them all down. As they came out, one by one, according to their number, I wrote down their names altogether, their times and their seasons, as the angel Uriel, who was with me, pointed them out to me. Secrets of Enoch 27:1, and here, Book of Enoch is different than the Secrets of Enoch. You can find them they're both part of the Apocrypha, and they're both written by Enoch, but they are separate and they talk about different things. Secrets of Enoch 27:1, and I commanded that there should be taken from light and darkness, and I said, Be thick, and it became thus. And I spread it out with the light, and it became water. I spread it out over the darkness below the light. And then I made firm the waters, that is to say, the bottomless. And I made foundation of light around the water, and created 7 circles from inside, and imaged it, i.e., the water, like crystal wet and dry, that is to say, like glass, and the circumcision of the waters and the other elements. And I showed each one of them its road, and the 7 stars, each one of them in its heaven, that they go thus, and I saw that it was good. So here God is explaining that the firmament is like glass, and it encompasses the waters and other elements there. Book of Enoch, 18:5. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the paths of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. Proverbs 8:29. When he gave to the sea his decree that the waters should not pass his commandment, and he appointed the foundations of the earth. So Antarctica keeps the waters in. So the waters don't fall off the edge of the earth. Antarctica holds the oceans in. Book of Enoch, 101:6. Are not the entire sea and all its waters and all its movements the work of the Most High? And has he not set limits to its doings and confined it throughout by the sand? Number 5. Sun and moon rotate around a fixed earth. Joshua 10:12-13. Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, and the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. So God stopped the movement of the sun and moon because they move while the earth does not. So Joshua did not command the earth to stop spinning, or basically in the solar system you'd have to stop spinning and moving altogether for this to be possible. And now Joshua commanded God to stop the sun and the moon from moving. So it's one of these simple facts that Christians often overlook. So the sun and moon follow a circular path around the center of the earth, inside the firmament, and they are not in outer space. Psalm 19:6. His going forth is from the end of the earth, end of the heaven, and a circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Speaking of the sun. Secrets of Enoch 11:1-3. Those men took me and led me up onto the 4th heaven, and showed me all the successive goings, and all the rays of the light of sun and moon, and I measured their goings and compared their light, and saw that the sun's light is greater than the moon's. It circles in the wheels on which it goes, always, like a wind going past with very marvelous speed, and day and night it has no rest. So we believe the sun and moon are inside the firmament. Here Enoch describes their goings forth in the 4th heaven, which would have been outside the firmament, so I'm not too sure on that aspect yet. The sun and moon are inside the earth's heavens, follow an unending, constant, fast course in a circle around the North Pole. Secrets of Enoch 12:2. Thus the sun revolves and goes, and rises under the heaven, and its course goes under the earth, with the light of its rays incessantly. The moon also emits its own light and does not reflect the sun's light, because here we see they each have their own light. The light of the sun and moon. Also, the light from the moon makes things colder, whereas the sun makes things hotter. And we see that the sun represents the male and the moon the female. It's God's design. Number 6, the way God created everything makes sense in a flat earth model. On page 6. In Genesis 1, God created day 1 the heaven, earth, and light. Day 2, the firmament. Day 3, dry land, seas, and plants. Day 4, the sun, moon, and stars, which would reside in the firmament. And then day 5, aquatic life and birds. 6, terrestrial life and humans. And day 7, God rested. So the earth and firmament were created before the sun, moon, and stars, which were set in the firmament. Anything outside the firmament is heaven, and hell is under the earth. We know that Jesus went to the center of the earth after he died, and spent 3 days and 3 nights there, and then was the first morning resurrected. Habakkuk 3:11. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation. At the light of thine arrows they went, at the shining of thy glittering spear. Yes. Stood still in their habitation. They reside in the firmament, in the heavens. So land does not curve like a sphere. Number 7, Daniel 4:10-11. Thus were the visions of mine head in my bed. I saw and beheld a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of all the earth. If the earth were round, you would not be able to see this tree from the other side of the globe. You can only see so far on a flat earth. That's why you see a train or a sailboat going away from you eventually disappear, because you can't see forever, even though the earth is flat. But if you had a tree that was 40 miles high, you could see that for a long ways. That's what Daniel's describing here. The Bible mentions dozens of times the face of the earth. This makes sense if it's flat, because the face is only on one side of something and we live on it. A ball has no face. The enemy benefits from a globe earth and the universe existing. Without outer space and planets, the Big Bang, evolution, aliens, and their planet seeding are all proven false. Aliens will be a big part of the end-time deception, because the Illuminati, the shadow government, have developed their capabilities so much that they can project holographs of whatever they want. We saw that in 9/11. Those airplanes were not real. They simply flew holograms into the Twin Towers and then blew them up. The nuclear bomb underneath and bombs throughout. So, and everybody thought it was real. So just imagine that they could create holograms of alien spacecraft, and you could fool the whole world that way. Also, it's Lucifer's plan to depict God himself, heaven, and hell as fiction, and making the earth seem like a drop in an ocean of life, of which we are insignificant. Supposedly there are millions or tens of millions of other Earths, and trillions of stars or whatnot, and we would seem very small and insignificant in that creation. But I'm here to tell you that the Bible says that this is it. There is no other Earth. This is God's creation. We're to believe God's word based on faith. And this would destroy Mormonism, Scientology, and global warming. Destroys a lot of Satan's lies. Because the Mormons believe that there are other planets and they'll become gods one day to populate the planet, but that's not true if the Earth is flat. There's some sources. I have some other topics here you can research. The sun and moon are the same size. The sun is masculine and the moon is feminine. There's verses that talk about the mountain of God in the center of the earth, and about how there are 4 rivers that come from the center of the earth, and that's where I believe the Garden of Eden still exists. And it's quite interesting. There have been explorers that have gone to the center, the North Pole, and your instrumentation gets out of whack when you come that close. There's no flights that go over the North and South Pole. There's no South Pole, and then if you were to fly over the North Pole, your magnet would start spinning because you're so close to the North Pole that any metal would distort it. And We don't know exactly what's in the North Pole, but I know that there's a mountain of God. Holy mountain of God, the book of Enoch and Ezekiel talk about how it's his throne in the center of the earth. About the source of all water is the center of the earth, where the Garden of Eden is. That's where the fountains of the deep come up. And people have said that Mount Meru is a mountain of God, another name for it. And it's magnetic, and we know that water is magnetic, and that it's repelled by different magnetism because of its ions. So the theory is that all ocean currents are created by this immensely powerful magnetic mountain, and creates all movement, water movement on the earth. One way to think of it. Okay, we get into apologetics here. The Bible mentions outer space. You can say that Job 26:7, he stretches out the north over the empty place and hangeth the earth upon nothing. Like the earth is rotating around the sun and space, upon nothing. You can assume, you're assuming that nothing is a vacuum of outer space. It's an assumption. Because that also would apply to a flat earth. We hang on nothing. If you read the book of Enoch, I believe it's the book of the Secrets of Enoch, it talks about how God created everything in the beginning, and then how we rest on a firm foundation. If God were to turn his face from his creation, we would all be destroyed in an instant. He sustains everything. You've heard probably that the firmament was an ice canopy that was shattered, causing a flood, and that the firmament is no longer there, thus we were able to go to the moon and send satellites out and all that. And that's why people supposedly live long in the pre-flood days, so they didn't get as much radiation from the sun or something. But here we see in Psalm 148:4, praise him, ye heavens of heavens, and ye waters that be above the heavens. So the firmament still exists because Psalms was written after the flood. So David is talking about the waters above the heavens. David obviously came after the flood, so the firmament is still there. You can say the Bible mentions planets which are in outer space. 2 Kings 23:5, and he put down the idolatrous priests, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah, and in the places round about Jerusalem, them also that burned incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. So here you can see planets are mentioned. Planets is in reference to the stars, which ancient civilizations did not know much about. It's an assumption that God is speaking about huge round objects floating in outer space. Planets are different than stars, but elsewhere in God's Word he talks about stars having their own form of glory. Each one is unique. And we know that stars are actually angels. And that they follow their course. So we see that in the book of Enoch. Proverbs 8:27, when he prepared the heavens, I was there, when he set a compass upon the face of the earth. Right. Okay, the book of Enoch was not written by God, thus we cannot use it for doctrine. You can say, people have argued that you can throw out all the verses from the book of Enoch and the book of the Secrets of Enoch. But the verse from the book of Enoch is seen in Jude. So I'll read Book of Enoch 1:9. And behold, he cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones to execute the judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness, which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. And then Jude 1:14-15 says, And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. So Jude is quoting the book of Enoch almost exactly, as we see the Gospels quote each other almost exactly as well. So, and it says that Enoch prophesied, and the book of Enoch is the collection of Enoch's prophesyings. So you can throw out the whole book of Enoch, but Jude does quote it, and you have to believe that Jude is the word of God. And I think the number 66 is a little conspicuous. There's only 66 books in the Bible. There are more. So NASA is good at fooling us, and they get better every day, every year. Technology is getting always increasing. It gets easier to fool people. So it's important to believe the earth is flat based on faith here, and when you know the truth will make you free, as Jesus said. So you'll be more free by believing in the flat earth. You're not enslaved to all the lies. Half of the news is lies these days. So thank you for watching, and please download the Bible verses and check them out for yourself, and please comment any others and whatnot, and thank you for watching. Bye. God bless.